hard fought game. The guys definitely did not quit. Like they came back from down 18 points and got us even closer than we imagined we could be in this game. But ultimately, they fell up short, lose the game by 7 points. But let me check in with my co-host Joey. It's been a while since we talked to you. Halftime ritual was in effect. It is 1-1 on the season, but it was a valiant effort, my friend.
I definitely gave it my all. I'll just say that the ritual was it was hard. The effort was very hard. I gave it a lot of effort, but to no avail, I guess. But hey, they made it competitive. They made it close. I'm a little bit more happy than I was when we first started talking because that fucking pissed me off. The ending of that game was just
very anticlimactic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and of course it was an Iowa receiver that had to not go out of bounds. So we are not an Iowa fan today.
Iowa's not don't eat corn. Get a different vegetable for dinner tonight. Not Hawkeyes, guys. But Quentin, how are you, my brother?
I mean, I was pretty happy with the Iowa outcome because I had Iowa plus 3.5.
Yesterday, maybe, sure.
Today,
but I was pissed about that too. I was pissed about that too.
But I'm doing as good as I can after that awful ending we just witnessed. I mean, you get a wide receiver room full of practice squad guys, and what do you expect? Yeah, they need to be better than that, but the Bears need to be better, more talented, more experienced players, more guys who are more ready for the moment. That's what really stands out to me right now is that they're a bunch of guys who aren't ready for the moment right now.
And please allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Beat on 300, the insurance adjuster at the Amir Smith Marchette Insurance Agency, because he is not like I wish it was a snow game. I wish it was a cold game. Like they could just leave him out on the tarmac in the snow. Like that one dude on the Lakers that they left after they won in the bubble when they won the title and they left that dude at the fucking stadium. But they gave him the sideline. We talked about it a little bit on the pregame, or not on the pregame, but like the pre-show. And I think it was one of those things where the offense got a couple first downs. You had confidence. You had the offense working for that whole second half. That was one of the best second halves offensively that we've seen from Justin Fields in his career. I know it hasn't been a long career, but he looked good. The running game looked good when he needed to be bailed out. Monty was there. Cole Kmet was there. Like, overall, it was a good performance in the second half. Defensively, we got cooked in the first half, and then the adjustments were made, and they played a lot better. They only gave up, 7 points in the second half? Or eight points? Yeah, 8, because they got the 2-point conversion. But you're going up against the receiving core with 2 Pro Bowl, potential all-pro caliber receivers, and you're up against them with kind of just a hodgepodge group of guys. And then on top of that, in the receiver room, like Quentin said, you bring practice squad guys up to make primetime plays. That's the result you're going to get. It's unfortunate. You hate to see that happen for one of our players, but you have to have the mental know-it-all to realize, like, look, he literally had to like get back in to get contacted. Like, he could have just went on a straight line, went out of bounds, stopped the clock, we keep it moving. And obviously there's no guarantee that we finish that drive. But as Bears fans, the Bears organization, and the coaching staff all wanted to see that moment for Justin Fields and see what he could do. And throughout that second half, whether it was with his legs, I'm so pissed that 52-yarder got called back because I was sitting there watching that, and that run reminded me of Vic against the Vikings. If you guys
electric, dude. So electric.
If you remember that run, that reminded me of the Vic against the Vikings run, and it was like, sure as shit, it gets called back for a holding. And there was a lot of penalties today, but we played a team that was clearly better than us talent-wise. I don't know if I would necessarily say like a better coach team because they're still very new with their coach, but I liked what I saw outside of the last minute and a half, which made me just pull every last hair out of my head. Like, that was so frustrating.
It's crazy, too, because you look at it and it's like, I said this to Quentin, but while you were away in the pre-show, too, but like they had all the momentum going, right? Like they were moving the ball pretty consistently all second half, whether it be, like you said, whether it be through the air, whether it be little dump off passes, whether it be Fields taking off and running the football, like just moving the ball pretty consistently. Whether they finished all their drives or not, it was a pretty consistent flow of like picking up positive yardage and keeping the chains moving for the most part. So it's like you felt pretty good about, okay, ISM gets the ball right there, just go out of bounds. And it's like that's the most frustrating thing, and kind of alludes back to what Quentin was saying earlier about, how just inexperienced this team is, because you can tell why this is a guy that was cut from the Vikings. You could tell why this is a guy that was not playing much for anybody, and then also just wasn't playing much here. Like why he was even in the game at that point, I don't know, but it also speaks to the lack of weapons. And Dante Pettis had, a couple of drops that got me furious earlier in the game. One of them, which, ended up wouldn't have counted anyways, because I think there was a holding called on that play. But dude, the lack of weapons, like, you could tell why a lot of these plays too, he ends up getting flushed out of the pocket because guys aren't open. And that was very apparent today on a few different plays. But for the most part, it's like, dude, I was just getting so frustrated. Somebody make a play. And then finally, Mooney made that incredible catch, which was like one of the best catches you'll see of the season, if we're being honest. That catch was probably in the George Pickens range of like best catches this year.
Hype the throw up too, though.
The throw was great, yeah. The throw was great. I mean, Fields made another nice throw too when he was flushed out of the pocket that Mooney almost grabbed, but the defender kind of caught up in time. Corner of the end zone too, which he made the throw on the run there. I can't remember exactly at what point in the game that was, now that I'm thinking about it, but it was a great play. It was a great throw by Fields. He made multiple, like he showed you why. I think the most impressive part, that's like the one part that we can kind of walk away from this game and be like happy about, or like look at from a positive light, is they lost this game, but Fields showed you a ton. There was a lot of progress here with his game, just from picking up like the blitzes, where they were coming from, finding the pockets in like the zone coverages, and not necessarily just taking off and running with it. Like he was actually looking to make a play, but like moving around in the pocket and buying himself some time and looking downfield and looking for the play to be made elsewhere instead of just taking it off and running with it. He knew when he had to run though in this game, and he made big plays with his legs too. But I don't want to soak up the entire microphone, but like there was a lot to like about this game, even in the loss.
Yeah, I mean, I sit here and I see 8 drives, 5 of which you came away with the score, and another one where you were approaching scoring territory when that fumble happened. I mean, you were at like the 46, so you're 10 yards out from scoring territory at least. Like if you're saying field goal, which doesn't really make sense for the situation, but that's some solid productivity. I mean, let's see, 3 of those drives were 40 plus yards. So they had a 44-yard drive, a 50-yard drive, and a 67-yard drive. Like that's some solid efficiency on offense, and that's something that you work with going forward. And you say there were just a lot of moments today where it felt like we're on, the offense is onto something. And that's something we haven't seen in the first 4 weeks. The first 4 weeks have felt more like the offense is so lost they can't figure anything out. That wasn't today. So that's a consolation prize, a moral victory, I guess. I mean, the Bears lost today, and it sucks and it hurts, and the way it happened just really hurts. But we saw something today from the offense, and specifically from Justin Fields, that we haven't seen yet this year, and that's something that I'm very excited about coming away from today. And ultimately, I mean, I'm going to root for the Bears to win every game. I can't sit here and say that I want them to lobby for draft position in a game, right after a game, right before a game. You want them to win. They're your team. That's what you want.
It's not in our DNA here.
The odds of them making the playoffs are low this year, and this just helps that draft position, which is something that helps me deal with a loss like this. Just thinking about that we saw everything that we wanted to see out of our hopeful franchise quarterback today, and it didn't hurt our draft position. That's kind of a silver lining here to me, as much as the loss does suck.